It looks like Marvel Studios is not going to be ditching the characters and the ideas that were prevalent in the Hawkeye series, as we recently found out that one character from that series who has ties to the crime syndicates that we saw there, which of course were run by Wilson Fisk, will be returning in Daredevil Born Again. Out of all the characters you could have mentioned that could potentially show up in Daredevil Born Again, Waluigi was not the one I had my money on. Yes, that's right, the swordsman himself is apparently going to be showing up in Daredevil Born Again. Now, we don't know the extent of his role, if he will be taking up a sword and involved in some sort of fight, or if he's just going to be linked to, well, obviously Eleanor Bishop, but also the Kingpin, and whether or not they're continuing that story. But multiple reports have now surfaced that the character will in fact be in Daredevil Born Again. It's the same character from Hawkeye, obviously, and that we can expect a little bit more development on his story from when we last saw him. You know what? Sweet. Good. Like, the character is a street-level character. And as we saw in Hawkeye, there is already that connection with the events of the Avengers, those characters being tied to it, those characters knowing the Kingpin. He's obviously entangled in some of that organized crime that involves Eleanor. Like, this all works. And to me, this is great because, again, we're dealing with characters that live either right across the water in Jersey or live right there in New York. If Daredevil is running around and he's not running into Marvel Studios characters, it's going to feel empty, right? Especially characters that make sense in terms of the story. It's going to feel like the Netflix stuff, except even worse, because at least the Netflix stuff, they could reference each other. But they couldn't really use Marvel Studios characters because of logistics. Here, they got the access to do it. So bringing these characters in, referencing the stories, the history, it all works out. And I won't be surprised if this isn't like the last of the characters we hear are going to appear. I honestly expect we're going to get quite a few mentions, because we already know Kamala Khan's dad is in this. I fully expect maybe even Kamala to show up. So adding more characters like this is just going to enrich the world and the stories that they can tell, and adds more context to it, which to me, well, that's the key to building out this universe. It's these little moments that make it feel like a living, breathing world where you can bump into anybody that you've already seen.